Why would anyone pay $10,000 for a fish? Would you pay $10,000 for a fish? Not a rare diamond, not a luxury car, not even a piece of artwork. A fish. For most people, that sounds completely ridiculous. But in the world of exotic aquarium collectors, certain arowanas can sell for thousands of dollars, and exceptional specimens can reach prices that seem almost impossible for a pet. So what exactly are people paying for? Is the fish genuinely rare? Is it difficult to breed? Or is there something about the arowana that makes it far more valuable than an ordinary aquarium fish? Let's take a closer look. The arowana is an ancient freshwater predator known for its long body, enormous scales, powerful fins, and two small barbels extending from its lower jaw. Those barbels are one reason people compare the fish to a dragon. And the comparison isn't just about appearance. Arowanas are impressive hunters. They usually stay near the surface of the water, waiting for prey. And when the opportunity comes, they can launch themselves out of the water to grab insects and other small animals. But here's the important part. Not every arowana is expensive. There are several species, including the silver arowana found in South America and the Australian arowana. But when people talk about extremely expensive arowanas, one name usually enters the conversation: the Asian arowana. This fish is native to parts of Southeast Asia and has become one of the most sought-after ornamental fish in the world. And unlike buying an ordinary aquarium fish, collectors don't necessarily judge an arowana simply by its species. They look at the details. How intense is its color? How symmetrical is its body? Are the scales properly aligned? How does it swim? Are the fins well developed? Does its body have the proportions collectors consider desirable? Two fish can belong to the same species and still have dramatically different values. It's similar to owning a luxury watch. The basic product may be the same, but rarity, condition, appearance, and reputation can make one example worth far more than another. And then there's scarcity. Asian arowanas faced serious pressure from habitat destruction and collection for the ornamental fish trade. As conservation concerns increased, international trade became heavily regulated under CITES, the international agreement designed to control trade in threatened wildlife. That changed the market. Legitimate commercial trade increasingly depended on captive-bred fish from approved facilities rather than simply taking wild fish from their natural habitats. When something is difficult to obtain legally, while people still strongly want it, the price can rise. But breeding arowanas isn't exactly like producing thousands of goldfish. These are large predators that require considerable space and careful water management. They also have an unusual reproductive strategy. After breeding, the male can carry the developing eggs inside his mouth. This behavior is known as mouth brooding. So instead of simply releasing huge numbers of eggs and allowing breeders to raise them separately, reproduction involves a much more specialized process. And that limited supply becomes even more important when collectors are looking for exceptional fish. Because sometimes, they're not just buying the fish they see today. They're buying its potential. A young arowana may not yet have developed its final adult coloration. But if it comes from desirable genetics, collectors may believe it has the potential to develop spectacular colors as it matures. This is particularly important with highly prized red varieties. A young fish showing promising characteristics can attract serious attention because collectors are essentially making a bet on what that fish could become. And that brings us to something that has nothing to do with biology: culture. In parts of Asia, the arowana has long been associated with ideas such as prosperity, strength, protection, and good fortune. Its resemblance to the mythical dragon only strengthened that image. For some collectors, therefore, owning an arowana isn't simply about having an attractive animal in an aquarium. It can also represent wealth, prestige, and luck. And there's one more thing that makes the price even more surprising. The fish itself isn't the only expense. Arowanas can grow large. That means owners need a suitably sized aquarium, powerful filtration, good water quality, proper food, and long-term maintenance. So the real cost of owning one can extend far beyond the original purchase price. So, why can an arowana cost thousands of dollars? There isn't one magical answer. It's the combination of limited supply, strict regulation, breeding difficulty, genetics, coloration, appearance, cultural symbolism, and collector demand. And perhaps that's the most interesting part of the story. The arowana isn't valuable simply because it is a fish. It's valuable because humans have decided that certain versions of that fish are rare, beautiful, meaningful, and desirable. And when enough people want something that isn't easy to obtain, the price can become extraordinary. So the next time you see an arowana swimming peacefully inside an aquarium, remember, you might not just be looking at a fish. You could be looking at an animal worth more than a used car sitting quietly behind a glass. And that raises an even more interesting question. If someone offered you a $10,000 arowana for free, would you actually want to own it?